ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। So we were looking at the first Brahmanam of the second chapter, and in this there is a story which is narrated by the Upanishad, that a Brahmana called Gargya goes to the Kashi Raja Ajatashatru and announces that he will teach him Brahman. Then he goes on to talk about different upasanas of Brahman. So Brahman as Aditya Devata, Brahman as the Soma Devata, Brahman as the Vayu Devata, like that. He goes on talking about doing upasana of Brahman. Finally, he also says that he does upasana of this Brahman as the totality, as the Hiranyagarbha, on oneself. So after this, he doesn't have anything more to say about Brahman. Then the Raja asks him, is it only so much only is there that he knows, or anything else he has to say further? Then this Gargya says, no, he doesn't have anything more to say. He only knows so much. He has exhausted all his knowledge. Then the Raja, who of course knew all these things already, now says that by knowing only this much, Brahman is not completely known. So he says, na etavata viditam bhavati iti. So Brahman is not known by knowing so much or knowing all these things. Then what does this Gargya do? He says that, okay, so since I know only so much and I would like to know Brahman fully or completely or properly, so now I approach you as a Sishya. So he says, Upatva Yaniti, Upayani Twa. Twa means Twam. So now I approach you as a Sishya. Approach you means here as a Sishya we have to understand. So here I told you already that even that this whole story also has a connection with Bhagavad Gita. So even in Bhagavad Gita, the 7th chapter, Bhagavan says that people know me as somebody who is manifest in a particular form, even though I'm really unmanifest, or I'm not really an object of knowledge. Because by giving a location to Bhagavan and giving certain characteristics or visheshanas or qualities, you are actually making Bhagavan one of the objects or one more object in this world, correct? In this objective world. But that's how people actually relate to Bhagavan. And they also take that as the nature of Bhagavan. That is where the problem is. You can still relate to Bhagavan in any form. We have that freedom as of Ishta Devata, which is there in our tradition. That's not an issue. But if you think that Bhagavan is only so much, or Bhagavan is only restricted to Golok Brindavan, or Vaikuntha, or Kailasha, means you are actually locating Bhagavan somewhere, correct? And further you are saying you have to go there, only then you can reach Bhagavan, means you have basically made Bhagavan into a limited being sitting somewhere in some location. So this is really a problem. And Bhagavan explicitly says there in that 7th chapter, he says, Avyaktam Vyaktimapannam Manyante Mama Buddhayaha. So So abuddhayaha mam manyante. So those who do not have buddhi here means those who do not have enough knowledge. So they think, what do they think? That even though I am avyaktam, I am unmanifest, and I am not an object of knowledge, I am aprameya really. I am not an object of any means of knowledge. Still, they think that I am Vyakti, I am one of the objects or individual object actually. So I have gained the status of being an object of knowledge. So they do not know my real nature, Bhagavan further says. Parambhavam ajanantaha. My real nature, they do not know. Which is what? Which is Mama Avyayam Anuttamam, he says. So my real nature is that which is indestructible, unchanging, invariable, and also there is nothing greater than that. That means it is limitless. So my limitless nature, limitless, unchanging nature is not known by these people, and they make me one of the objects of knowledge because of that. In fact, he continues and says, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavrita. So why do all these people do not know Bhagavan means? He says, I am not known by everybody. Why? Because Yoga Maya Samavritaha, covered by Yoga Maya. Yoga Maya here means Maya, that Maya along with three gunas. So Triguna Yukta Maya is called Yoga Maya here. Maya joined with the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And again, covered by, who is covered by this Yoga Maya? That's a question. We can look at it in two ways. Bhagavan is covered by Yoga Maya means really we cannot say that Brahman is covered by Yoga Maya. It is like saying the sun is covered by the cloud. For the onlooker, the sun is covered by the cloud. But in reality, the sun can never be covered by the cloud, correct? The sun is so big, cloud is so small. And again, even that whether the cloud is there or not itself is visible only through because of the sun, correct? The very existence of the cloud is known to us because of the sun. But still, from the standpoint of the onlooker, we can say the sun is covered by the cloud. In reality, it is we are covered by the cloud actually, correct? So that sun is not visible. We have to look at it like that. So even here, Yoga Maya Samavritaha in this particular verse can go to Krishna also. Krishna as Brahman. But then we have to understand it properly. Or those who do not know Bhagavan, they are covered by the Yoga Maya. Like that, in fact, he further says that I know everything, whatever is past, present, future, but nobody knows me and all. He says like that. So like that, it's a very interesting set of verses there, which I think relates to whatever this story is also conveying here. So now let us see the Bhashya, what Bhashyakara says. Tam tata bhutam alakshya gargyam sahovacha ajata shatruhu. So this Gargya, who is now actually exhausted all his knowledge, correct? So he is in this way. So looking at him, he is saying this, what? Etavannu iti. So here this pluti is there, or plutam. Means these three matras, this u you have to extend. So what is the meaning of pluta here? In fact, even in general, even Pani Sutras are all there. So pluta you can use even when you are selling something and all that. So the takram, like that they will say, it seems. Means if you are selling buttermilk, you have to then tell it in a particular manner, correct? Then only it will reach the consumers or whoever is interested in buying it. So there you can use pluta. Similarly here, the meaning of the pluta is basically it is vicharartha, means what Ajata Shatru is conveying here is Etavat Vannu iti means only this much you know, means what? There is something more to be known. You have to do more analysis, more vichara. So Bhashyakara here he says Kim etavat brahma nirnyatam ahos with adhikamapi asti. So he is asking, only this much do you know, or is there more that you know? Then what? Itara aha, the other person here, Gargya, what does he say? Etavadhi iti, I know only so much. Then what? Then he says, na etavata viditena brahma viditam bhavati ityaha ajata shatruhu. So Ajata Shatru now says, by knowing only so much, Brahman is not known. So he further, it's okay, these things are not there in the Upanishad, but Bhashyakara is saying, this is what he means. What? Kimartam garvitaha asi brahmate bravani iti. Then why were you proud that you will teach me Brahman? You will talk to me about Brahman. You announced that you are going to teach me Brahman. So why this pride was there for you then, if you don't know more than this? Okay, then what? Kim etavat viditam eva na bhavati iti uchyate. Okay, now there is a question raised here or an objection by somebody. You can take Purva Pakshi. He says, then he asks, if you know only so much, then should we consider that you don't know anything? Na viditameva na bhavati means Brahman is totally not known. By knowing all these things, whatever all the upasanas which were listed here, then do you say that Brahman is not at all known totally, completely? Means Bhashyakara says, no, it's not like that, because all these upasanas also, they are not like Arthavada. See, sometimes in the Veda, we have some stories, certain things are there, where it is called Arthavada. Arthavada means it is conveying something about the main topic, but it is not conveying anything independently by itself. Okay, so we have to make some meaning out of it. Like in the context of a yajna, it is said that Agni cried and it became silver, like this, and all we say. There is a story like this. Now, then what do we understand from this? What is the connection of this particular Agni cried and it became silver and the particular yajna means? Then the Purva Mimamsakas make a connection. This is Arthavada. Directly we cannot make any connection, but then they still make a connection saying that you should not then donate silver, because in any yajna some dakshina you have to give, but you should not give silver as dakshina. Maybe you have to give only gold, it seems. So like this, some meanings we have to make. Like here it is not like that. That's what Bhashyakara is pointing, because there is a phala is given for each of these upasana, and this jnanam, this vidya also, whatever upasana, they all have phala, and they have been mandated individually, independently. So they are not arthavada. So palavad vijnana shravanat nacha arthavadatvam eva vakyanam avagantum shakyam, like that Bhashyakara says. Since phala is being talked about here for each of these upasanas, they cannot be taken as arthavada. So arthavadatvam is not there for them. All these vakyas, we cannot take it like this. In fact, he says apurva vidhina apurva vidhana paranihi vakyani pratyupasana upadesham lakshyante. So apurva vidhi, nema vidhi, parisankhya vidhi, like that we talk about in the Purva Mimamsa. Apurva vidhi means something which is not known before. Only Veda has to reveal it to you. Okay, so in such cases it is called apurva vidhi. So in this case, it is all apurva only, correct? We don't know with what Visheshana we have to do upasana on Brahman, with what characteristics and qualities. And if you do that upasana also, what phala you will get, all that is revealed only by the Veda here, by the Upanishad. So it is all apurva vidhanam only. It is all mandated as something which is apurva, means here unique, or that which is not known through any other means of knowledge, that which is not previously known. Niyama vidhi means you may know something previously, but there are more than one option. then what should you do? There, then Veda will say you have to do this, even though both are possible, something like that. That's all Niyama Vidhi. Like these different types of vidhis are whatever the Veda Vakyas, what they mandate, we can understand that. So here it is all Apurva Vidhana only. That's what Bhashyakara says. Apurva Vidhana Parani hi Vakyani. So all these sentences are Apurva Vidhana Parani, means they are all revealing to us something which is Apurva. And what are these sentences? Pratyupasana Upadesham. So they are all Upasana towards some Devatas, correct? So all these Upadesha, and they have been given by all these Vakyas. Bhashyakara quotes here, Atishtaha Sarvesham Bhutanam, from 212 onwards up to 213. All these Upasanas are there, Ityadini. And what? Then Tad Anurupani cha Phalani Sarvatra Shruyante Vibhaktani. Again, depending on what characteristics you do Upasana on, in keeping with that, the Upasana Phala, the result of the Upasana also has been given by the Shruti separately. Each one has its own phala. So therefore, Arthavadatve etad asamanjasam, he says. So if you take all these things as Arthavada, then it doesn't make any sense. It is not proper. So they are all independent upasanas with their own phala, and they have some relevance. Okay, it is not totally irrelevant, or by knowing this, we cannot say that you don't know anything like that. But okay, so now Bhashyakara gives the main point. He says, Katham tarhi na etavata viditam bhavati iti. Okay, so then how can you say that by knowing all this upasana, Brahman is not known? Like this, now the objection that guy says, if you say it is not Arthavada, then how are you saying that by knowing this much, still Brahman is not known? So Bhashyakara says it's not a defect, naisha doshaha. Why? Because adhikrita apekshatvat Brahma upadeshartam hi shushrusave ajata shatrave amukhya brahmavit gargyaha pravrittaha. So again, what Bhashyakara says, all these things are dependent on the qualifications of the person. Okay, adhikrita apekshatvat. So the upasana is relevant for those who need to do upasana. We cannot say that karma or upasana are totally useless and all that, although it is avidya vishaya, like that Bhashyakara will say, and he has said also many times already. They are all in the realm of ignorance, but still they all have their own relevance because they prepare you for this knowledge. The same karma and upasana, if done with the right attitude, then they give you chitta shuddhi and chitta naischalyam, which are very important for you to gain this atma vidya also, brahma vidya. So they are all relevant for those who are based on the qualifications of the people who are knowing them. Okay. And also it is said here that this Gargya, although he is Amukhya Brahmavit, he doesn't know Brahman, the Mukhya Brahman or the main Brahman. He only knows the manifestations of Brahman. But he came to this Ajata Shatru thinking that he will teach Brahman. He thinks that Brahman is only so much, according to him. Then, in such a situation, it is proper for the one who knows Mukhya Brahman, who is Ajata Shatru here. So, to tell him that you don't know, by knowing only so much, you don't know Brahman. It is proper to say that. Okay, so that's what Bhashyakara here he says. Brahma upadeshartham hi shushrusave ajata shatrave amukhya brahmavid gargyaha pravrittaha saha yuktaha eva mukhya brahmavida ajata shatruna amukhya brahmavid gargyaha vaktum yan mukhyam brahma vaktum pravrittaha tvam tat na janishaha iti. So the one who only knew amukhya brahma, okay, but who came to teach Ajata Shatru about Brahman, and the one who is taught actually knows Mukhya Brahman, okay, and then it is proper for such a person, correct, who is Ajata Shatru here, to tell this other person who doesn't know, Gargyaha, that whatever you came to teach me, Brahman, you do not know the nature of that Brahman, the Mukyam Brahma, you don't know. Okay. So this has to be told because he thinks that only Brahman is so much, but there is more to know about Brahman than only its manifestations. You have to know the nature of this Brahman. So it is proper that he tells him that you do not know. You only know so much. Okay. Further what? Yadi amukhya Brahma Vijnanamapi Pratyakhyayeta tada etavata iti na bruyat na kinchit jnatam tvaya ityavam bruyat. So Bhashyakara further clarifies here, if you want to totally negate whatever Gargya has said till now, that Gargya has talked about Amukhya Brahman. Means he has talked about Brahman manifest as different devatas and finally as Hiranyagarbha. And also totally we have to look as devatas in totality, and individually also Bhashyakara pointed out that you have to do upasana as all these different organs and finally as your antakarana and buddhi. So if all this, if Ajatashatru wanted to negate totally, Pratyakhyayeta means to negate it, okay, or say it is all wrong, then what he would have told then? Means na kinchit jnatam tvaya, you don't know anything, like that he should have said. But here what he is saying, etavata iti na bruyat. That's what Bhashyakara says. You won't, by knowing only so much, like that he wouldn't say. He would have said you don't know anything. But here he says by knowing only so much you do not know, means what? Whatever you have known is okay, but only knowing that you do not know Brahman completely with this much. So that is the point here. So whatever has been talked about up to the 13th Vakya, they are all still valid, but you do not know Brahman only with this much knowledge or by knowing only so much. Okay, then what? Tasmat bhavanti etavanti avidya vishaye brahmani. So all these things up to this 213, therefore what? They are all only avidya vishaya only. That's what Bhashyakara says. It's all in the realm of ignorance. So if you look upon Brahman as having some qualities and as being manifest as a particular devata or particular indriya, this is all, it is good for doing upasana and you can even get phala, but it is all still in avidya only. It's all in the realm of ignorance because you do not know the real nature of Brahman and yourself. Okay. So then what? But still, etavad vijnana dvaratvacha parabrahma vijnanasya yuktam eva vaktum na etavata viditam bhavati iti. So finally what Bhashyakara says, but still what? With all this upasana, they all become a means for knowing Param Brahma finally. Like I told you already, karma also, if done with the yoga buddhi, becomes the means for chitta shuddhi. Similarly, all this upasana, again done with yoga buddhi, karma yoga buddhi, with the right attitude, you are not interested in the karma phala itself or upasana phala itself, but you still do upasana to gain chitta naistalyam, means what? Certain tranquility of your mind, we can say. Correct? Your mind is not all the time going all over the place. You are able to focus it on only one thing if required. So that ability is very useful. Nischalata of the mind. Chalam means what? Going here and there, moving. But you have the ability to make the mind unmoving, means focused on only one thing. That is very useful. So in that manner, all these upasanas also become a means. Through them, we can finally know Param Brahma, the Brahman as it is, as it should be known, the limitless Brahman. Okay, the knowledge of that limitless Brahman, for that all these things can become a means. Therefore, it is proper to say that by only knowing this much, you do not know Brahman. Okay, then what? Further, what Bhashyakara says is avidya vishaye vijneyatvam nama rupa karmatmakatvam cha yesham tritiye adhyaye pradarshitam. Okay, so in the last Tritiya Adhyaya, Bhashyakara says that I think is because he is talking in the context of Shatapatha Brahmana. But when we talk about the Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it is first chapter, first Prathama Adhyaya we have to take really. And in the first chapter, end last sixth Brahmana, it was said that everything is Nama Rupam Karma, like this. Okay, whatever is this objective world, in that everything is in the form of name, forms, and function. You can say karma here means or activities. So that has been already shown, and all this belongs to the realm of ignorance. Okay, you have to know it as all these things belong to only the realm of ignorance. That was shown. Therefore, what tasmat na etavata viditam bhavati iti bruvata adhikam brahma jnatavyam asti iti darshitam bhavati. Therefore, now what? And having said that you do not know Brahman by knowing only this much, the one who is saying that now has to talk more about Brahman, correct? He has to now tell what is the actual nature of Brahman. So that has to be known. So by the one who is saying this, it has to be shown that there is something more to be known about Brahman. Therefore, what? Tacha anupasannaya na vaktavyam. But that you cannot teach somebody, you cannot preach Brahman. Understand that. Upanishad or even our traditions are very profound. You cannot go to the road and preach them like some missionaries are doing. It is similar to the quantum mechanics, let us say, or quantum physics. You cannot go to the road and preach quantum physics, correct? Unless you go and enroll in a university properly and go to the class, a professor will not teach you quantum physics. Similarly, this Brahma, of course, our Ajatashatru has said that by knowing only this much, you do not know Brahman. That means now what? Our Gargya also is very clear that he has to know something more. But if he has to know that something more about Brahman, Ajatashatru cannot teach it just like that. Unless it is asked for, it will not be given. Be clear about it. You have to ask for it. All knowledge is given only for the asking. It is very important. In fact, the way you ask also is important there. That shows your attitude for learning. So you have to approach knowledge and knowledgeable people with the right attitude. So that's what here Bhashyakara says, Tacha anupasannaya na vaktavyam iti. So the one who has not approached for that knowledge properly, for him you cannot give that knowledge. Only for the one who has approached you. So even Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, correct? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Like that, it is said, I think, in the 4th chapter. So you go and learn about this Brahman. How means you have to approach with humility, ready to do seva to your guru, okay, and also ready to have a certain conversation with your guru. Question and answers you can ask, but even that you have to ask with the right attitude. You are not asking question to test your guru or to prove your guru is wrong and all that. Okay. So then for such persons, whoever knows the truth, Brahmajnanam will teach them. Bhagavan says that also. In fact, any teacher is very happy to get some students who are qualified to know, correct, and who approach with the right attitude. Means anybody who knows will be happy to share. There is nothing to lose. In fact, the more we teach, the more we share our knowledge, it is clarity is growing. So there is no doubt about that. But anyway, it has to be approached in the right manner. So anupasannaya na vaktavyam iti achara vidijnaha gargyaha swayameva. So this Gargya knows, because he himself is a teacher already. Even though he did not know Brahman completely, fully, he is a teacher. He has done Adhyayanam. He is a Vedavid. And he himself will not teach a Sishya who has not approached him properly. According to, there is a tradition, there is a way to approach, correct? Achara. The way you have to approach a teacher, in fact, even in Mundaka Upanishad also it says Samit Panihi and all that, correct? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Guru you approach having Samit in your hand. There also Samit Panihi means what? Means you are ready to do seva to the Guru. Because in those days, Gurus were all in some ashrama, they were doing yajna every day. Means they required Samit. And you are going with the Samit, ready to do seva to your Guru. So that shows the attitude. Similarly, so this Gargya knows. So what did he say? Upatva yaniti, upagachaniti, tvam. So twa means tvam. Again, in Chandasam, the prefix and the verb can be separate. So upayani, you have to connect it like that. Tvam upayani or upagacchani iti. So I approach you, I come near you means what? Bhashyakara here he says, Yatha anyaha shishyaha gurum. So like any other shishya would approach his guru. So now what happens? Gargya came as a Brahmana, as a guru to the Kshatriya king Ajatashatru. But once he finds out that he doesn't know enough, then he gives up all his pride, arrogance. He was known as Dripta Balaki. But then he had the good sense to give it up and approach the Kshatriya, which is not actually proper according to tradition, but still he approaches him like a Sishya. So then the next verse is very important, very interesting. We'll see that. So what did Ajatashatru tell? Let us see that. So Saho Vacha Ajatashatruhu Pratilomam cha etad Brahmanaha Kshatriyam Upeyat Brahmame Vakshyati iti. So he says it is Pratiloma. So Pratiloma means Viparita, like that Bhashyakara says. Means it is contrary to the tradition, it is opposed to the tradition. Okay, a Brahmana cannot become a Sishya of a Kshatriya normally. Okay. So then how do you learn? Here, assuming that in that whole Kashi Rajya, nobody else knew Brahman. Because Gargya thinks that he is a very, very learned person. But finally he finds out that he himself does not know something, but the king knows. So there is no other way now. He wants to know, he is ready to know, but who else he will approach now? So he has to approach the king only, but that is not the tradition, because typically Adhyayanam, Adhyapanam is to be done by Brahmana. Adhyayana, in fact, all the Dvijas can do. As per the Dharma Shastra, Kshatriya, Vaishya also can do Veda Adhyayanam. But Adhyapanam, after learning, they have to go to their own Swakarma, correct? As per the Varnashrama. Brahmana Swakarma is Adhyapanam. Then Brahmana has to teach. He is the teacher. Adhyayanam, Adhyapanam, Yajanam, Yajanam, Danam, Pratigraham, like that. Generally we say 6 things the Brahmana can do. So Brahmana can pray for himself, Yajanam, and he can also pray, become officiate as the priest for others. Even here, Yajanam everybody can do, including Shudra. Everybody can worship, everybody can pray. Certain yajnas can even be done by Shudras. There are references in Brahma Shastra. But only Brahmana can officiate in those things and make them do that. Correct? Yajanam can only be done by the Brahmana. Similarly, Danam, everybody can give Danam. But Pratigraham, again, specifically for Brahmanas, can accept all this Dana. Of course, even while accepting, they have to do everyday Gayatri, because that is supposed to be the Prayashchitta for that. Whenever you get something from somebody, you are getting all their papa also along with that. Okay, that is very clear. It is said in different places in the Shastra. So you get their papa also. Whenever you are getting something from somebody, that's why they'll say pay money. If you pay money, it is different. So when we were young, our parents will not allow us to take something free from anybody. Because this consciousness was there, I think. This particular idea that if you just take something from somebody, you are also taking their papa along with that. So we don't want that. But Brahmana is allowed to do that. That is because every day anyway, Brahmana is supposed to do Prayaschitta karma for everybody, in fact. All the Gayatri Japa and all the Nitya karma and all the Panchamaha Yajna which a Brahmana is supposed to do is for everybody, for the society. Therefore, because their whole day goes in that, you cannot expect them to do some other work, correct, for earning. So they were supposed to be supported by others in the society, so they can do pratigraham, but they themselves also can do danam to others. Whenever they are, in fact, in some yajnas, you are supposed to give dana. So like this, that being the case, it is pratiloma. Okay, so I cannot really become your guru. That's what your Ajatashatru is very clear here. Okay, he says, I cannot become your guru. But he says what? Still I will teach you. That's what he is saying. So he says, Vyevaktva Nyapaishyami iti. But still I will teach you, but I will not become a guru. Okay, I will not be in the sthana of a guru, but I will still instruct you, I will teach you Brahman. So this is like, see, even one more instance, my Guruji used to tell this. I just remember that you have all these pithas, correct? Shankara mathas are there, different mathas are there, pithadipadis are there. Many times there, young people are made into the next pithadipadi, correct? That means they have to be taught further all the shastra. But when somebody is made a pithadipadi, that person becomes sannyasi. He becomes an atyashrami. So he becomes, in status at least, he is greater than any grihastha shastri or pandit who is supposed to teach him. So technically, the Pithadipadi, the sannyasi, cannot become a shishya of that shastri or the pandit who is teaching. But still he has to be taught, because everything cannot be taught by the whoever is the current Pithadipadi, correct? The current Pithadipadi may teach some important things to the shishya, but all the shastras he cannot teach. He doesn't have the time also, it is not practical. So all these Pithadipadis who are young, they learn from other Shastris only. But then they do something very interesting. They won't go and learn directly as a Shishya. Okay. So what will happen is, this Pandita or Shastri will have other Shishyas, regular Brahmacharis and Grihasthas. And this Sannyasi or the Pithadipadi will go and sit separately in the same class, but he will not sit along with them, but he will sit separately as though he is overhearing it. Like that only they have to learn. So this is interesting, correct? So like that, so there they are respecting the tradition, but still learning takes place. So something like that here. So Ajatashatru says, me being the Kshatriya, I cannot really teach you, but still I will teach you, but you don't have to approach me like a Shishya at least. Okay. Therefore, what he does is very interesting. He says, next you can see, Tam Panav Adaya Uttasthau. So then this Ajatashatru holds the hands of this Gargya and then gets up along with him. And they take a walk. We have to understand that. So by this, what we understand is, really Ajatashatru did not take Gargya like a Shishya. Okay. More like an equal. They both got up, he held his hand, and then they are walking. Then they approach somebody. Okay. Tauha Purusham Suptam Ajagma Ajagmatuhu Tam Etau Tam Etaihi Namabihi Amantrayan Chakre. Okay, so these two people, they go in the palace. We have to imagine that. and somebody is sleeping. So then Ajatashatru stops there. And then what? He starts calling him by different names. The one who is sleeping, he is calling him with different names. What are those names? Brihan, Pandaravasaha, Somaha, Rajaniti. So these are all words we saw before, correct? In the Upasana, when we talked about, these were the words which were telling us with what Visheshana the Brahma Upasana was being done. So Brihan means somebody who is really big. Pandaravasaha means one who is having white robes or white clothes. Soma, again, Soma Devata. And Rajan means one who shines. Like these different words which we use for the different devatas there, all these words he is calling out, but that person does not get up, he is still sleeping. He doesn't recognize any of these names. Okay. Then what? That's what sa na uttasthau. So he did not get up, that person. Then what? Tam panina apesham bodayan chakara saha uttasthau. So then he caught hold of him, his hands. Maybe even then he did not get up. So when he touched him also, he didn't get up. He is still sleeping, deep sleep. Then what? Apesham means he touched him, but then he really woke him up. Maybe he just shook him, shook that guy really, and then that person, Bodhayan Chakara means he woke him up, then made him wake up. Then only he woke up, that person. So, Saha Uttasthau. Okay, this much only is there. But here Bhashyakara has written big Bhashya. You can see very interesting discussion is going on here. Let us see that. Saho vacha jata shatruhu pratilomam viparitam cha etat. So when the Gargya approached Ajatashatru as a Shishya, then Ajatashatru told him what? This is Viparita, this is Pratiloma. Viparita means it is contrary to the tradition. And what is that? Means Yad Brahmanaha Uttama Varnaha Acharyatve Adhikritaha San Kshatriyam Anacharya Swabhavam Upeyat Upagachet Shishya Vritya Brahmame Vakshyati iti. So teach me Brahman, like that. A Brahmana is approaching the Kshatriya. That is not correct. Brahmana is Uttama Varna means he is higher in the Varna hierarchy, and also the one who is supposed to be the Acharya for all the Kshatriyas also, because in a Gurukula all people can go and study. Adhyanam is for everybody, but Adhyapanam is supposed to be done by the Brahmana. So Brahmana only has the qualifications to be a teacher, but still here what? Even though he is the one, Gargya is the one who is have the qualifications to be a teacher, but still he goes to a Kshatriya who is not having this Acharya Swabhava, means he doesn't have the nature to be a teacher really, but he approaches him, Upagachet, Upeyat, what with Shishya Vritya means with the idea of being a Shishya. So this is Pratilomam or Viparitam. Therefore, what? Etad Achara Vidhi Shastreshu Nishiddham Bhashyakara says. This is actually prohibited in Dharma Shastra, wherever the Achara Vidhi is talked about, the rules of conduct, you can say. So it is against the rules of conduct. Even in parliament, we have a lot of rules of conduct, correct? How you can raise a question, when you can raise a question, whether you have to formally write it to the speaker. So many things are there. Like this is now against the rules of conduct, he says. Therefore, what? Tasmat tishtatvam acharya eva san. So don't become my shishya. You be acharya only still. That's what. So you stop. You stay there itself wherever you are as the acharya. But still what? Vijñapayishyami eva tvamaham. But still I will teach you. But you don't have to become my shishya for that. You still be the acharya only. I will still teach you. So it is like the Pitadipadi being taught by some Shastri or Pandit. In fact, even though he is teaching him, he will do namaskara to the Pitadipati. Understand that. That is what, but that is accepted as valid achara or valid conduct. So even though in this case, in fact, this is where our Anandagiri is very useful. So Anandagiri is quoting Manu here to say that this is allowed. Okay. Sorry, somebody is bursting crackers here. I don't know. Okay. Somebody has some function at this time, I think, and they are bursting crackers. Anyway, here Anandagiri quotes Manu and says, Abrahmanat adhyenam apatkale vidhiyate. So in apatkala, a Brahmana can do adhyenam from even Abrahmana, means Kshatriya or Vaishya, because there is nobody else to teach. Means you can become a Shishya, but even there are some rules of conduct is there. What he says is, Anuvrajya Shushrusha Yavad Adhyanam Guroho. Okay. Na Abrahmane Gurau Shishyaha Vasam Atyantikam Vaset. All these things are there in Manu. Ityadini Achara Vidhi Shastrani, like that Anandagiri is quoting here. So what it says is, in Apatkala, means if no other teacher is available, then Brahmana can learn from Kshatriya or Vaishya, but then there are some rules there. You still do not treat that Kshatriya Guru like you will treat your regular Brahmana Guru. So you should not do here. This Anuvrajya means, again commentary is there. Why do they say is Anuvrajya cha Shushrusha? So your desire to know or Shushrusha again actually literally means desire to listen. But by Rudi Atta, it also means your whatever seva you are ready to do to your Guru, correct? Your desire to listen means your desire to do some seva also is included in that for your Guru. But what kind of seva you can do a Kshatriya Guru, some restrictions are there. You cannot still see, you should not do Pada Puja to Kshatriya and something they have listed. I read the commentary also for this verse in Manu. So, but you can learn in Apat Kala, and also you should not stay with him forever. That also is said here. So, na Abrahmane Guru Shishyaha Vasam Atyantikam Vaset. Till the time you have to learn, you are with the Guru. In fact, in the commentary of that Manu, that commentator is quoting Mahabharata and says that Vyasa even says that even if a Brahmana learns from a Kshatriya a particular mantra or whatever Vidya, after he has learnt it, he again becomes the Guru only, it seems. He's no, only during the time of learning he is a Shishya. After he has learnt that, the Brahmana again becomes the Guru, Kshatriya is still the Shishya. Like that, there is a quotation in Mahabharata also, they are quoting all that. So this is allowed, but okay, Apat Kala, if in terms like where you have no other option. Otherwise, generally Apat means it is distress or some kind of a calamity. When it is there or a danger is there, you can do such things. But here you have no other option. So he goes and learns. Okay, but that's what Ajata Shatru is making him comfortable, saying that okay, I will hold your hand and we'll walk and we'll learn. So he says, Vijñapayishyami evatvam aham yasmin vidite brahma viditam bhavati yattan mukhyam brahma vedyam. So I will teach you by knowing which this Brahman becomes known. Okay. So by knowing that mukhyam brahma, which is what you really want to learn now, correct? So whatever is to be known about that mukhyam brahma, I will teach you. Okay. Then what? Tam gargyam Salajjam Alakshya Visramba Jananaya Panav Haste Adaya Grihitva Uttasthav Uttitavan. So this Gargya is now feeling ashamed, correct, in one way. Salajjam and all Bhashyakara says. Okay. So he is a little bit uh, feeling odd, maybe you can say, or feeling shameful. So to make him at ease, Visramba Jananaya, to make him relaxed and make him at ease, he Panav means haste, he holds his hand. Panav adaya means grihitva, holding his hand. Uttastav uttitavan, he gets up, both of them get up. Then what? Tauha gargya ajata shatru purusham suptam rajagriha pradeshe kvachit ajagmatuhu agatau. So then they came near a person who is sleeping in the Rajagriha, in the palace, okay, or in the palace grounds or whatever, along near the palace. Then what? Tamcha Purusham Suptam Prapya Etaihi Namabihi. So having reached that Purusha, that person who is sleeping, with these names, what are these names? Brihan, Pandaravasaha, Somaha, Rajan Ityetaihi, Amantrayan Chakre. So with all these names, he called that person who is sleeping as Brihan, Pandaravasaha, Somaha, Rajan, all these things. Then what happened? Evam amantrayamanaha api sa suptaha na uttasthau. So even though being called with all these names, that person who is sleeping did not get up. Then what? Tam aprati buddhyamanam panina apesham apishya apishya. So apishya means two times it is repeating here. So this is a typical Indian language usage, correct? If you use a verb two times, means he did it for a length of time or something. So here, this guy, the one who is sleeping did not get up. So aprati buddhyamanam. Then what? He holds his hand, holding his hand, and then he is trying to shake him up. That's what is said by this two times repetition of apishya apishya. And then what? Bodayan chakara pratibodhitavan. So he woke him up finally. So tena sa ha uttasthau. So by this, that person got up. He woke up. So up to this only the Upanishad is there. Okay, Upanishad is over. Now Bhashyakara gives one sentence and then starts a big discussion based on that. Very interesting. So from this what Bhashyakara says, therefore, tasmad what yaha gargyena abhipretaha now na asau asmin sharire karta bhokta brahmaeti. So now from this what Ajata Shatru is trying to teach this Gargya. That's what Bhashyakara here he says. So this person, when he was called by all these names of these devatas, which are all again prana only, correct? It is all addressed to the prana, you can say, prana devata, because all these different indriyas also are nothing but prana. Prana is the one which is functioning even when all other indriyas are resolved. All these things we saw already in Brihadaranyaka itself. And prana is there even in a sleeping person, correct? If prana is not there, then it is a dead body. Then people will take and start either burying it or burning it and all that. He is a sleeping person. Body, physical body is there, but physical body is not responding when you call the name. Prana is there. Prana also is not responding. Now here, in the previous Vakyas, our Gargya is actually talking about prana as Brahman, correct? And prana again was talked even in the sixth Brahmana of the first chapter also. Prana was presented as the limitless who is covered by all this physical body, like that Channaha. That Bhashyakara will quote that later also. Satyena Channaha, like that it was said. There Satya means actually all these tangible things, physical body, etc. So that prana is not really the karta bhokta, because finally this Brahman is done upasana as the karta bhokta, the doer and enjoyer, or one who responds at least as the consciousness. But even though the prana is there, it is not responding. That means this prana is not that karta bhokta Brahma. The Brahman who is manifesting as this karta bhokta is not this prana, nor this physical body. That is what Ajatashatru is trying to teach this Gargya, like this Bhashyakara says. So now Purvapakshi comes. How can you say that? So he says, Katham punaha idam avagamyate supta purusha gamana tat sambodhana anuthanaihi Gargya abhimatasya brahmanaha abrahmatvam jnapitamiti. So how can you say that it can be known that by going to the sleeping person and calling him with some names, and uh, then again trying to wake him up, correct? And even if you call him some names, he has not woken up. Therefore, how can you say that according to what Gargya taught, Brahman according to Gargya is not this Brahman, the Mukhya Brahman? How can you say that? Like this, the Purvapakshi is asking now. Further, he is saying what? Jagarita kale yaha gargya abhipretaha purushaha karta bhokta brahma sannihitaha. Okay, this Bhashyakara is now answering. So he is asking a question like this. So how can you say that this is not the Brahman which Ajatashatru was talking about as karta bhokta, one who is actually manifest as the karta bhokta in oneself and in all the devatas? So Bhashyakara here beautifully explains. Jagarita kale yaha gargyaha abhipretaha purushaha karta bhokta brahma sannihitaha karneshu yatha tata ajata shatru abhipretaha api tat swami bhrityeshu iva raja sannihitaha eva किंतु भृत्य स्वामिनोः गार्ग्य अजात शत्रु अभिप्रेतयोः यद विवेक अवधारण कारणं तत् संकीर्णत्वात् अनवधारित विशेषम. Okay, up to this I will keep, because then again he goes into something. So here what Bhashyakara is trying to say is, during the waking, the karta bhokta Brahman, which with Gargya talks about as all these devatas, and with all these visheshanas you have to do upasana. And similarly, whoever Ajata Shatru is going to talk about Mukhya Brahman, which is nothing but Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Now both are there manifesting as the same Karta Bhokta. In waking, even though the Amukhya Brahman is like the servant and Mukhya Brahman is like Swami or master. Okay, Mukhya Brahman is the main thing. If it is not there, nothing will be there. Its very existence only is making all these things exist. So here Bhashyakara is talking about Mukhyam Brahma is like Swami, and Amukhya Brahman, about which our Ajata Shatru talked about, is like Britya or servant. Okay. So in the waking, both are there. So now we have to separate it out and show. How do we show it? That Amukhya Brahman is not Mukhyam Brahma. Even though both are there during the waking, means then you can confuse between the two, correct? That's what Bhashyakara here he points out. So, Kintu Britya Swaminoho, Gargya Ajata Shatru Abhipretayoho, Yad Viveka Avadharana Karanam, Tat Sankirnatvat. Okay, so here say it's all mixed up. In waking state, this Britya Swaminoho means what? This Brahman, according to Ajata Shatru, is the Swami. The Brahman, according to our Gargya, is the servant or Britya. And to understand that these two are separate, okay, to discriminatively understand that it's not easy in waking, because there is mix up. In the waking state, everything is mixed up. Therefore, what? That mixing up only again Bhashyakara talks about here. In fact, is very similar to what he says in the Brahma Sutra Bhashya introduction. All that we'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.